Welcome back to another episode of my cb125 RS spare engine rebuild. Now, a quick recap on the last video I'd done on this. I was having a few issues when I put it together, that the gears weren't turning, and you'll see that I finally figured out the issue. I went and bought myself a new set of made in Japan gaskets for this bike, but it turned out that that wasn't the issue, even though they were a bit thicker gaskets and they were better gaskets. So I do have a spare left here if I want it. Anyway, the issue was that I looked on the CMSNL website, and in their diagram for this particular engine, they didn't have a thrust washer on the very end, and I thought that was wrong because when this engine came first, it had one, and if you look at this, this is just like a normal washer. It's very thick, it's not black, it's silver. And following the diagram that was in CSNL, CSM, or whatever you call it, following that diagram, it seems to work an awful lot better, having removed this thrust washer, so I'm going to leave it like that. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know, but it works with it, so that's the way I'm going to leave it. And that allows us to continue with our build. You'll see that this turns perfectly now without that thrust washer, so I don't think we're going to need that. I do worry about damage getting done inside by having removed that, but I really don't have any other option because it was what was causing the issue. And on the diagram, it doesn't have it, so I assume that it's not meant to be there. So that leaves us that we can continue on and start rebuilding the clutch side of the engine, and that's what we're going to do this evening. So I'll be with you in a wee minute and we'll start. Okay, so all of my parts are here, and I've made a start by putting the two new seals into the pump there, and I'm going to fit the pump now, if I can find the right screws. They're in it, I just have to get them. Give me a minute till I get the screw out of the inside of this. Okay, so you'll see I have my two screws down in the middle of that. My camera will focus, and I'm going to screw them in. 1 second, I keep getting these stupid little wires off the wire wheels sticking to the magnetic things that I have, and they're putting them into the landing in the engine. Don't need them there, won't help it, so we'll screw this in. There's one. Screw this in. Ooh, bright. Probably better off just with light like this. Okay, I'm going to snug them in now. And that is the pump in. What will I put in next? What will I put in next? Let's see. Centrifugal oil filter? Maybe. No. We need to put the cog for the clutch in first. There we go. Cog for the clutch is in. Now the centrifugal oil filter. Give me a second to unscrew these. I'll be back with you. Okay, that's centrifugal oil filter on the top of it, like that. And you'll see that there's a special castellated kind of nut that goes onto the top of that. And I don't know if I'm missing a washer there. I don't see any washers in the parts that I have here. So there's one. Maybe that's the one. Oh no, that's the one I just took off the... So that wouldn't be right. And let's see what else we got here. Got me new bolts. No, there's no other washers there. So I'm just going to put it on. Simple as that. And how are you going to do that? A person says, well, in my wisdom, when I was waiting on parts and stuff, I went and I bought the correct tools to do the job. So I bought, well, that's for removing the flywheel. I have two of them, one for Honda 50s and 90s and one for the 125. But this is the one we're looking for here. And if I just open it, you'll see that it looks something like this. So we just have to find the right size and screw it on, like so. Now I have to get, I don't know if you can see that, I have to get extension bar and try and get it in there to tighten that up. So where are my sockets? Yeah, they're over here. This bench is starting to get to be a mess again. So I was working on a project in my downtime for somebody else. It's just out here drying now because I put a bit of paint on it. A little Honda 90 engine. I cleaned that all up for him. Hello. Yeah, turned out okay. Cleaned it up a nice bit. Right, back to this. I'll be back in a second whenever I get extension bar. Okay, I got my old wheel brace, so don't try this at home. Now, I have to jam something in there in between the teeth so that I can get it tightened up. So, give me a second and I'll do that. Okay, so that's now tightened on. I'm going to put the cap on now. And hopefully that'll be that. And it'll work alright. Now, I'll get me 3 screws, hoping that the heads of these don't cause any issues. Rubbing off casings or something. Which I hope they won't. I don't think they will. Try and screw them in here. Screwdriver. Another one. And the third one. See what I do for you guys, show you everything and go through all these trial and errors so you don't have to. Now I can't tighten these with one hand, so I'm going to have to put down the phone now and tighten them in. I'll be back in a second. So, just for future reference, guys, the clutch goes on before the centrifugal oil filter, so I had to take it off again, and I soaked my clutch plates in oil, built them all in, and I'm ready now to put the thrust bearing on. So, that's there. I'll be back with you in a minute. So I had an awful time with this clutch. I didn't have the right bolts, but I managed to get some bolts that work, and that's it. It's fitted. And now I have to fit the centrifugal oil filter. So yeah, so I thought I'd made great progress tonight. Got the centrifugal oil filter on, clutch on, oil pump on, and then I realised that I hadn't got the shift shaft on. Guess what? I have to take every single piece of this off again to get this shift shaft into place. But I've run out of time tonight. I don't have any more time to work on it, so it'll have to be tomorrow or something. Or it's probably going to be, 3 minutes for use. 2 minutes. Oh well, it's the joys of doing these things, I guess. If you could call it joy. Anyway, don't be afraid to subscribe to Demo690 if you want to follow the rest of the build here. Thank you very much.